What if I told you you could stake Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain and earn daily passive income in BTC? I bet you'd buy that token. I know I might. Check out growthdefi.com and tell them Crypto Crow sent you. Are you interested in getting into bot trading? Try crowtrader.com right now and download version 1.2.1, now available for free. Download Windows, Mac, or Linux version and experiment on Coinbase Pro and Binance Legacy with new exchanges coming very soon. And learn how to use the bot before you've ever paid a dime. Download 1.2.1 now, free at crowtrader.com. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Crypto Crow. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm only 8,000 subscribers away from 100,000. Can I get there? That's the question. How old will I be before I finally reach that point? So this week I'm going to be doing a lot of different types of videos, and hopefully you enjoy them. Some of them are just going to be articles that I go over, and then there's going to be a video like this to start off the week to get your mind thinking. I did a video not too long ago that for whatever reason YouTube didn't like very much, and they ended up pulling it down, and I thought I would do something similar to that video, but I wouldn't mention anything in the realm of political anything, because I think that might have been what created the situation for me, but I'm not sure. We're gonna find out with this video. But I wanted to do something kind of similar, and I wanted to break down some things that I see potentially happening as we continue to move forward into this bull market. Now, number one on this list is obviously the bull market. It's where we're at right now. All the prices are soaring. The institutions have already been accumulating. I mean, the institutions have been putting hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into the cryptocurrency market, primarily in Bitcoin, as well as some alts, and they're buying them up at a low. And a lot of these positions that these institutions are getting into are over the counter. So they're not really moving the market in any direction, but they are lowering the overall supply, which means that in the next phase of adoption, the retail adoption, the retail investors coming into the space, buying up what they can on exchanges is what's really going to move the price. And in that, we're gonna be seeing so much happen in the Bitcoin market and then the associated altcoin market. Typically, Bitcoin peaks first, altcoins follow. Bitcoin peaks again, altcoins follow. Until we get towards the end, towards the end of that market, where we see Bitcoin dominance continue to drop as people continue taking their profit and then putting it into the altcoin market, because that is where they can get substantially more returns at the height of the market cycle, right? And then the exit coin positions are generally exited, and then everything comes tumbling down for a bear market, which typically lasts a couple of years. Now, the question is, as all of this is happening, how much less value will the US dollar hold month after month throughout the course of this period? Probably not a substantial amount of lost value, but it's obviously being printed ad nauseum, and whatever is being done with it, okay? Now, during the course of all of this, you see in red, regulation and taxation. We're going to see more clear regulations that I'm sure the institutions are going to benefit from and feel more confident in, and thus enable them to go in that much more. So as regulations begin to clarify and you know, new, clear, not all this gray area, like, you know, well, if we like you, you're okay. If we don't like you, we're going to throw the book at you kind of crap that we've seen now pretty much since the beginning. More clearly defined regulations that even the general layman knows and understands and can follow. Well, good luck with that. We'll see how that turns out. I would like to see that kind of stuff. But anyway, regulation is going to continue shaping up, which is actually a good thing. I do believe the regulation is actually a good thing. Why is it a good thing? Because a lot of you guys out there, you say, well, Crow, the whole crypto revolution is about getting these banks and governments and everything out of it. Sure, I understand that, but you're never going to achieve true mass adoption unless there's regulation, generally without institutions and without government approval. And they're not going to approve it unless they are able to regulate it. Now, that's just the nature of things. Now, the problem is that with regulation comes Wall Street, comes all the big sharks that love to just stab their neighbor, and just greed rules all in that world, right? I mean, that's the only point of even being a part of Wall Street, is to become a greedy king. So I think if anything, it's going to be the education of us first adopters, our early hodlers, our early accumulators. It's going to be the utilization of the altcoins that are ultimately going to help drive the retail market to much further success than Bitcoin overall. Okay. A lot of the Wall Street investors and a lot of these big institutions, they're going to be going into Bitcoin primarily, and a select few altcoins. Okay. It's going to be the altcoin market where I believe the retail investor is going to be able to shine, and in some cases outperform Wall Street, because there's too many of them, and the majority of them are not understood by any of the big Wall Street or institutional players. Let's just face facts. That's going to be where the retail investor is able to shine moving forward for eternity. I do believe that the retail market is going to own the altcoin market at some point in the future. Now, taxation is already starting to come more and more, very iron-fisted, very much F you, pay me. I've just recently read an article about amnesty, how, the IRS has basically shown no intentions whatsoever in offering crypto investors any form of amnesty for back taxes, which I think is just, honestly, I think it's kind of terrible, to be frank with you. Luckily, I did my taxes. I have been doing my taxes. As a matter of fact, I just got a letter saying that I owed $650 in a penalty because my taxes were filed late. And I sent it over to my account, and he's like, that's not true. He's like, I'll take care of it within the week. He's like, we did not file late. And I'm like, okay, man, don't be setting me up for some BS now. So apparently that'll be addressed. But they're so iron-fisted with everything. And it's just like, it's just the way this country is ran. This country is ran to just treat all of us like lemmings, like batteries to fuel the system of control that we all kind of live in. And it's like, yes, a lot of us look at cryptocurrency as a way of trying to rise above that. And in some cases, I do believe it will uplift many people who started off with very little and accumulated and held and basically rode those ebbs and flows into a profitable position and are able to move forward with their lives and gain a lot more enjoyment. Here's the thing. Me personally, I don't need to be filthy, stupid rich. I just want to be in a position where I make my money, I pay my taxes, I've helped a bunch of people, and then I just live the rest of my days not ever having to worry about dollars anymore. I want to be able to do fun things with my life. I want to be able to do, I'd like to be able to do game development. I'd like to open a nightclub because it's something I've wanted to do since I was 18 years old. I just want to have fun with the rest of my life. I don't want to be fighting and arguing and bickering over nonsense or nickels and dimes and who owes who what and all of this stuff. I have no interest in spending the rest of my life doing that. I don't want to spend the rest of my life accumulating wealth. I just want enough to live the life I want to live, and that's fine. Let somebody else, much younger with a lot more energy, fight tooth and nail to try and accumulate wealth for themselves. But through all of this regulation and taxation, we're seeing the Stable Act. And I do believe we're going to see a lot more adoption of stable coins. I believe, like, if you notice right now, you're not getting quarters, nickels, and dimes or pennies anywhere. Okay? We are ushering into a cashless society. And there's no changing that. That's what's happening. I'm even seeing a lot of restaurants and things now. We don't accept cash anymore. We are now 100% cashless, credit card only. Okay, so what's going to happen is you've got the bull market pushing a lot of this stuff up in value that so many of us are holding. You've got the US dollar that's slowly lowering and dropping in value. So what we hold an alternative currency is ultimately worth more than the US dollars that we've been using for over 100 years, and it's on its way out. You've got these companies now and restaurants and everywhere you go basically saying we're cashless, it's credit card only. And through stable coins, what we're going to start seeing is more companies like Turnio's Block Card, Crypto.com's card. All of these companies that are basically saying, okay, we're going to empower you to sell cryptocurrency. Litecoin's card, hopefully someday a Cardano card, right? So we're going to see all of these different crypto debit cards that enable us to spend our money, not US dollars, but crypto, okay? And we're gonna start seeing a lot more of this stuff. And as adoption continues to grow, the adoption for these types of products, these crypto cards are gonna continue to grow, enabling us to spend our value, the value we're holding in whatever cryptocurrencies are growing and whatever we've got. And we're going to be able to go buy our candy bar. We're going to be able to go buy whatever it is that we want, because no longer are we going to be handing cash over. Here's a $100 bill. No, that's not going to happen anymore. So we're going to have regulation, taxation, and stable coins. The stable coins are going to become the way, I believe, we exit out of the position, and very likely by the peak of this next market. I do not necessarily believe that we are going to be exiting into US fiat dollars at the peak of this market because of all of the changes that are coming. And if anything, I expect to see, once all these institutions come into play, I originally said it was something like a big fake out, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be necessarily a big fake out in the sense that I don't even think I need to yell, do I? I just get a little excited when I talk. People that don't know me are always telling me, you yell so much. Why are you yelling at me? I'm like, I'm not yelling. I'm just passionate. I'm just excited. And I'm just a big ogre. So anyway, I think that these regulations are going to help the institutions. And if you help the institutions, ultimately what I think is going to happen is that these institutions may very well start exiting at what they believe to be the peak of the market. And they're going to exit into stable coins. A lot of the retail market that don't know are going to be exiting into fiat. And I believe that at some point, the government, somebody is going to start coming out with announcements about how we're moving into a cashless society legitimately. Like, it's not a rumor, it's not a conspiracy theory. Here's the rollout, here's what's happening. And that itself is what I believe is going to send the crypto market into the stratosphere. And I think that stratosphere could come once a lot of the retail investors have already dropped their holdings at what they believe to be the peak of the market. But the institutions will likely have not. And if they did, they will have exited into stable coins, which will enable them to get back in. And here's the thing, when this stuff starts to happen, these institutions are going to know it's coming before we do. They're going to know it's coming through their memos and press releases and inter-office memorandums and such. Hell, I had this software at one point that gave me all of everything as it was happening, SEC violations, all kinds of data about what's happening in the world of the finance. And that's what these guys read every day, like it's the Wall Street Journal. So these guys are going to know, and gals are going to know what's coming before we do. So they're going to be able to act on it. And by that point, once we know what's coming, what's happening, we're buying in a lot higher than we sold. That's what I think. And so at that point, you've got stable coins now utilized as primary currency, as fiat is canceled, much like metal coins are already. And then from there, we're going into altcoins are speculative trading tools for the retail market and utility tokens, all of which will be taxed like crazy. So once this transition has happened, I believe that the cream of the altcoin market will continue rising to the top through use case and adoption with tools and things that help us utilize applications, all sorts of different software, different things. And we're going to be using those fueled by the altcoins. And I believe that a lot of the cryptocurrency market as we know it today is going to change very drastically in the coming couple of years. And so And by the next bull market, like once we go through this cycle one more time, I believe that is it. And the thing of it is that everything that I'm saying in this video right now may not generally happen. It may happen in phases, starting now, because it's already started, through the next 5 years. And maybe a lot of this stuff really finally transpires at the peak of the next bull market. So we'll have to wait and see. So when a lot of people ask me, hey, Crow, what's your exit position? What's your exit strategy? And I say, I don't know yet. Because so much of how I plan to exit, if I exit, is going to be dependent upon all of these things on this list and what I see happening. What I'm basically telling you is to keep your eyes very much open and aware, and don't just say, well, I bought this, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to forget about it, and I'm not going to pay attention to the news, to what's going on in government, to what's going on in society. You want to pay attention, because that is going to establish the roadmap by which you will know much better how and where to exit, if that is even merited at all. Because to be honest, as we continue to move forward, I'm believing more and more that exiting my cryptocurrency positions isn't exactly going to be the best move. Why would I exit into something that is consistently losing value? So then at that point, it's a matter of, will the cryptocurrencies that I hold lose value again against the US dollar faster than the US dollar is losing its own value? Now, the way we've seen in the past, the answer is yes. The altcoin market, Bitcoin, everything else. However, if something increases 2,000% over its individual cycle before it drops 85 to 90%, is there any real reason to exit? So that's the question. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this video opens your eyes and makes you think and puts things into perspective for you just a little bit more than it was 16 minutes ago. So on that note, crow your coins, folks. I'll see you again soon.